So before we get started, if you're a subscriber, thank you so much for being part of the community. And if you're not a subscriber, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that like button to share this to more people. But 2 weeks ago, we harvested our sweet potatoes, and that's a pretty straightforward process. But if you haven't seen the video and you'd like to, the link is up here. You can check it out. And there's a couple things to think about and consider as you're going through and harvesting your sweet potatoes, but overall it's a straightforward process. And then the next week we released one that was about curing our sweet potatoes, and that link is up here as well if you'd like to see that. So harvesting or curing our sweet potatoes, a lot of people think when you harvest them you're done and that's it and you can just go ahead and eat them, but that's not really the case, because curing the sweet potatoes allows them to release the sugars and make them sweeter and to store longer. So if you remember back to when I was harvesting my sweet potatoes, we would go through, and if my hand would bump the potato too hard, it would bruise the potato. So you can see on this big mammer jammer, my date night potato, right here is a little one. Let's see. It's a little one, it's not too bad. I did pretty good actually, but this will actually lead to allow bacteria to come in, and then it could actually get a soft spot and kind of start to rot. So we want to be very careful of that. Now once you cure it though, if you remember, if I just went like that, it would bruise it. But now, check it out. That makes the skin a lot tougher and ready for storage. So sweet potatoes will last somewhere between, I can't give you a definite number. I can tell you that we have kept them for up to a year and they have not gone bad. They will start to lose a little bit of the sweetness, but overall, like in a pinch, if you had to, and you had a whole bunch, you could save them for a year if you store them correctly. So curing them, high heat, high humidity. And when I say high heat, like 85, 90 degrees, something like that. High humidity. And then once you do that for about 10 to 14 days, we're actually going to go a little bit longer because we had a little bit of a cold spell. We are curing in our garage, and we had a couple nights where it got down to in the mid 50s, and then a couple days where it got into the mid 70s. So I just want to be safe and let them cure a little bit longer. But you want to do the total opposite. You want to store them in cool, dry conditions. But more importantly than cool and dry is consistent temperatures. So you want to put them somewhere that's protected from drafts, from fluctuations of temperature. Now your house is going to fluctuate naturally, and that's fine. But we store ours in two places. One, we store in our pantry with the rest of our canned food, and then two, we store under our bed in our guest bedroom. And you're like, well, what the hell, why would you put it in your guest bedroom? Well, that's because it gets the least amount of traffic, so the temperature stays more consistent, and that room in particular doesn't get a lot of sun in it, so it also is the cooler room. So we'll split it up about 75-25. So 75% of our potatoes will go under the bed in that room, and then 25% of them will go into our pantry. And as we get low, we'll go and we'll rotate them out, but we always keep some on hand. And when you put them under the bed, I put them on top of a piece of cardboard, and then I'll put the potatoes on top, and I try not to stack them too deep. I mean, at this point they're pretty nice and cured and toughened up, so we can stack them a little bit on top, but you don't want to stack them like 3 or 4 deep. And you just want to be very gentle with them still, because the more you bang them around, the more susceptible they are to getting different injuries and stuff like that. And depending on how often you eat them, you might want to check on them from time to time to make sure that nothing has gotten under there and is kind of having fun with them. But we eat sweet potatoes pretty fast. We eat them a couple days a week, so we'll go through them. But this method, they will last us until, I would say, roughly about May is our goal. So what we'll do is, this year our white potato crop failed, and that was just a mistake on my part. But what we'll do is we'll have the potatoes, sweet potatoes, we'll be eating them, and then about a month before the white potatoes are ready to be harvested, we'll be done with these, and then when they cure, we'll be ready to eat our white potatoes. And so we kind of rotate out that way with a starch in our diet. It's a really good way to keep a decent supply of vegetables coming into your house and preserving your food, because curing is a form of preserving. That's what's so cool about this. Is a lot of people think it's just canning and freezing and drying, but curing some of your food, which is as simple as just letting it sit out for 10 to 14 days, will actually make it preserve longer so you can have it. So I do this with all of our winter squashes, all of our potatoes, and off the top of my head, I think that's all that we grow that we cure. But anything that's usually for long storage that you don't have to do anything with, a curing process is generally required. And this, it makes a big difference. When we did not cure these and we just went straight to eating them, they weren't as sweet. And you get that nice creamy texture. We didn't get that at all, and that was directly related to the way we cured them. And then following the way we stored them, it made it even worse. So that's why it's so important to store your potatoes correctly. So remember, storing your potatoes is cool air and low humidity and consistent temperatures. And you don't want it to be in a really bright place, because if you do that, then it might start to chit, which is where it starts to make slips. But we're gonna go over that in a different video. Not now, later on when it comes time for me to make some more slips for myself, then I'll share with you guys. But there's gonna be videos here. One is gonna be for harvesting, one is gonna be for curing. And subscribe, and thank you so much. We'll talk to you guys later. See ya.